This king learned to cook after she rejected him. Their tragic love story will make you cry. One of the world's most attractive and elegant queens is Queen Rania. She's part of the royal family and known for her simplicity. Did you know that Queen Rania turned down a meeting with King Abdullah before they got married? King Abdullah assumed command of the 2nd Royal Armoured Battalion in August 1992. During maneuvers and field drills in the desert, he and his soldiers lived in tents for 2 months. They were content with basic accommodations. The brigade commander suggested that he and other officers could take a one-night break. King Abdullah changed into casual clothes, drove to Amman, and arrived home wearing a simple shirt and light shoes. His sister Aisha quickly figured out he was in the city. But, because it had been a while since she had seen him, she assured him that the meeting would be brief and straightforward. Abdullah II couldn't say no to a magnificent dinner after surviving for 2 months on beans and canned pasta. He arrived at Aisha's house looking like a toasted loaf. He went wearing the same clothes he had hurriedly put on when he left the camp after spending 2 months in the desert sun without knowing that she had dinner guests. One of his sister's acquaintances worked at Apple Computer in Amman, and he treated one of his colleagues, Rania Al-Yassin, to supper. Rania, about 22 years old then, grew up in Kuwait and later moved to Jordan with her Palestinian family after the Gulf War. Her father, initially planning to retire in Jordan, expedited the move due to the conflict. Rania studied business administration at the American University of Cairo. She and Abdullah had a brief conversation at a dinner table, leaving a lasting impression on him with her confidence, elegance, and intelligence. He was captivated by her charms and realized he wanted to see her again. It took him a while to figure out how to reach her. Eventually, Abdullah called her at her workplace, expressing his desire to meet again. Rania mentioned she had heard things about him, and though her words were not entirely complimentary, he was determined. Abdullah doesn't see himself as someone who easily gives up. Abdullah wanted to meet Rania, but she was skeptical of his intentions. He convinced a mutual friend, Tawfiq Kawa, to arrange a meeting, but Rania remained unconvinced and thought he was biased. When Tawfiq returned from a trip, he apologized for not coordinating a meeting. To win her over, Abdullah discovered Rania's love for chocolate and brought her a box of Belgian chocolates. Despite initial reservations, Rania agreed to his proposal in November after he surprised her by cooking dinner. Abdullah, in his book, mentioned that his initial motivation to learn to cook was the urgent need to get closer to her. On January 30, Abdullah invited Rania to dinner to celebrate his birthday. His father, Al-Hussein bin Talal, sat next to her. And they had a lengthy chat that ended with him being astounded by the intelligence, allure, and beauty that she exuded. He revealed their secret immediately after knowing it. When Abdullah and Rania were still seated at home after his father and the visitors had left, his father was on the other end of the phone. Wanting to propose to Rania in a romantic setting, he invited her for a car ride to the top of the Tal Pomegranate Mountain. However, as they stood outside the car chatting, he expressed his serious intentions about their relationship and mentioned that marriage seemed like a wonderful idea to him. Rania smiled at him while she remained silent. He considered her silence about the response as evidence of approval and told his father about the conversation that took place between them, and since then things started to accelerate. After about 2 weeks they arranged a visit for his father at her parents' house. Abdullah was at that time returning from a business trip related to the army. And as soon as he stepped out of the plane at Queen Alia International Airport, he saw his father standing in front of the gate. The first time he went to meet her at the airport, he wanted to ensure he was stable and committed to marriage. In Jordanian traditions, when a man wants to propose, he brings important family members and friends to assure girls' parents that their daughter will be welcomed and cared for in his home. On the way to Rania's parents' house, Abdullah's father had to stop at his office briefly. Abdullah waited for less than 3/4 of an hour, and he started to worry they might be late. When they arrived, It seemed Rania's parents were expecting a casual meeting, unaware that Abdullah's father planned to ask for their daughter's hand in marriage that day. They were kind and hospitable, offering tea, coffee, and sweets. When Rania's mother gave Abdullah's father a cup of Arabic coffee, he placed it in front of him without taking a sip. In Jordan, it's a tradition that the girl's family offers Arabic coffee to the one proposing marriage. The person receiving the proposal takes the coffee but doesn't drink it until the request is submitted. If the family agrees, everyone drinks coffee. If they refuse, not drinking coffee is a response to the refusal. Despite discussing marriage with Rania before, Abdullah forgot to tell her and her parents about these customs. When Abdullah's father didn't drink the coffee, Rania started to understand the situation. Her mother, unaware of the tradition, urged Abdullah's father to have coffee. Eventually, Abdullah's father spoke about why their marriage would be a successful family project, and Rania's father approved, bringing joy to Abdullah.